I'm no stranger to the complaining. I have an entire series on this channel where I talk about the issues I have with the game, whether it be mechanics, killers, features, etc., and then present how I would personally fix them. I've also started this unofficial series of complaining about the community, which I'll get to a little bit later, but my point in this opening paragraph is to attempt to get on eye level with the rest of you, tell you before you attempt to point out hypocrisy on my part that I know I complain a lot. I've had a script sitting on the burner for a while about the positive things I like about Dead by Daylight, and honestly, after this past week and the atrocious amount of negativity that I've seen, even as recording this video, I will more likely post that as Wednesday's video because I feel like we all need some positivity inside of this whole thing. Before we get into the core of this shit sandwich I'm about to plop on your plate, let's place the bread and talk about the word criticism and how it's a grossly misused word, especially within gaming communities as a whole. The definition of criticism is twofold. One, to show disapproval based on perceived flaws, like how your grandmother can't get over the fact that you cut your hair short and you date women now. And number two, the analysis or judgment of the merit and flaws within one's work of art. And it's the second one I want to focus on today. You see, for all the complaining I do in my How to Fix series, I don't, or at least I try my best not to, just say dumb shit like, oh, this feature is trash, this power is dog shit. I try to break down why something feels bad, why I feel like it needs changes. I attempt to concisely and maturely point out my issues while making mandatory dick jokes, of course. After all, I'm a comedian, not a games journalist. I grew up on Zero Punctuation and Nostalgia Critic. You think I have integrity? I can barely go to the bathroom without laughing at how much my appendix scar looks like a little mustache above my belly button, which forms a cute little mouth. But I always do my best to provide a detailed breakdown of what I find wrong, and then, as to not be the one who only complains, I attempt to provide solutions to these problems. Will behavior ever see these videos? Maybe, maybe not, but it's a sign of good faith that I'm not hating to hate. I'm talking about problems out of love and passion for the game, and I need to see it improve. Which brings me to last week. By the way, apologies for the video on this topic coming out so late. I know everything that I'm about to talk about went down on Twitter a week ago, and as of recording this video, I did just finish putting up the dev update video, which in that dev update, there was a lot of problems that people were bitching about that were actually solved, and I'm gonna make a point about that a little bit later. And I'm writing this script on the day it all happened, but unfortunately I already had a video slotted for last Wednesday, and I didn't want to rush the script nor the editing to try and have the video ready for release by Wednesday morning. Anyway, about a week ago, Behavior unveiled the new autofill button for the Blood Web. Essentially, this button would prioritize perks and then would choose the closest and cheapest node, then auto-filling everything in. And this is great. Spending blood points is a massive pain in the ass when you accumulate a lot. Hell, every 25,000 or so takes a tad too long for my ADHD-riddled brain, so it's good to know that every grade reset I can just press a button and let the game quickly and efficiently prestige whoever I'm prestiging for perks. Now, are there things I want to see more from this system? Yes. We already got the option in the dev update to be able to insta-buy things instead of having to hold down M1, but I'd also like to see some configuration options for the auto web to let me have it prioritize certain add-ons or items. I also want to see for survivors specifically that you have to prestige 1 before you get the auto option taken away, because in killers, I understand having to understand all of the add-ons, but add-ons don't change from survivor to survivor. So if I could just auto prestige all the survivors, that would be great. But this is a great first step, and we are all glad Behavior is listening to us and attempting to make our time spent in the game better. Is where I would end this video if there wasn't an entire group of grown-ass adults stamping their feet and acting like fucking 5-year-olds, throwing temper tantrums because a system that we have not been able to test yet, as it isn't even on the fucking PTB, is not, we wanted, I didn't want the green iPhone 37 with 2 terabytes of storage and the ability to launch nukes at North Korea. I wanted the blue one, mommy. How could you be so stupid? By the way, this is all based off a fucking teaser, a teaser clip of a video. It literally, that's all it was. It was just a teaser for the dev update that got released on Friday. If you fucking idiots had waited like 10 seconds for the goddamn fucking dev update and the actual PTB, then you wouldn't be doing this shit. Seriously, I was appalled to grown-ass human beings, large content creators, and their fan bases acting like spoiled fucking kids, insulting the developers, being salty-ass sarcastic shit stains on the ass cheeks of society. It's so surreal. I physically, no joke, rubbed my eyes because I could not believe what I was seeing. Now, there's a large chance you know who this is, but I hid the name because I care more about the context of what's being said over the person who's saying it, because this represents a larger problem I have with this community. And before you fly to my comments section and lambaste me and tell me, oh, CSGO is worse, Overwatch is worse, Barbie Hearts Adventures Online is worse, I don't care. I know this kind of incessant childish moaning is not unique to this community. Remember last Monday's video? I came from Apex and Overwatch, for God's sakes. I know how it is. I even mentioned this is a common among gaming communities as a whole. However, this is a Dead by Daylight channel, so I'm directing this at the Dead by Daylight community. Now sit down and take some fucking responsibility for how you act, because I'm not done. Criticism in the form of whining and insulting people is not proper criticism. While it may fit the definition on a technicality, it is unhelpful and a lot of the times detrimental to the cause of trying to change the game for better. I remember when the Skull Merchant PTB dropped. There was several people in a Twitch chat I was in calling the devs cancer and failed abortions for a chapter release on the fucking PTB. You know, the public test beta? The place where constructive criticism is made to improve the live release. And whether you hate 3Gen Merchant or not, her live release was a huge improvement over the PTB, but we aren't here to talk about that. Insults, even subtle ones, are so commonly thrown at the devs, and it's exhausting to see. Game development is not easy. I mentioned this at the very beginning of my Trapper video. It sounded like a throwaway joke, and it partially was, but game development is very, very difficult. Game balance is very difficult, especially when you are developing for a live service game. Developers can make mistakes, maybe a little, maybe a lot, depending on how you personally feel, but there is no planet, no universe, no reality where it is okay to insult the devs personally, call them awful things, attack their looks, their intelligence, all over a fucking video game. A fucking video game. People losing their absolute minds, acting like we've seen the harbinger of end times. The sky is falling, Chicken Little, and written upon it is the words, if only the devs had added an insta-click option to the blood web. The problem for me goes much further though. It's not just the fact that you're treating real human beings like you're emotional punching bags because you didn't like a design decision in a fucking video game. It's also the fact that all this negativity, all this doomsaying, this tantrum throwing destroys the morale of the community from the inside fucking out. I hate people in the community acting this way, but when large creators, forefronts and faces of this community act this way, you do far more damage than a bad decision from the devs can ever do. You create a divide within the community far greater than there would be normally. You drive away new players and convince veterans that maybe this game isn't worth playing anymore. Tantrum throwing will turn good mood sour, excitement to mush, and it can ultimately destroys people's motivation to even play the game anymore, because even if they don't feel like you do, your words and your actions will curb enthusiasm. And I hate to sound like the kind of insufferable fuck who thinks that any criticism of any kind is bad, but if you hate this game and its developers so much, stop playing, stop talking about it, stop dragging the rest of us down with you. Let us build a healthier community with healthier communication and ultimately a healthier game. My blood is boiling. It's coming back to this script, to read it, to do the recording is dredging up in an unnecessary amount of anger. And I don't have this part in the script, but I'm going to be realistic with you guys. I am ever grateful for the success that I have seen in making Dead by Daylight content. And I thank you for the immense amount of subs and the immense amount of views on my videos. I have been loving the love that I've gotten. But I can honestly tell you from the bottom of my heart that if the community continues on this path of overwhelming negativity without a positive thing in sight, I saw it with the developer update, and people bitching about the things they hated while not praising the good things. There needs to be a healthy balance, and it needs to be a constructive, healthy balance. It is 100% possible to simultaneously say, oh, I really like these, but I think these are unnecessary or bad because, and then list your reasonings. Developers are human beings. They will listen to what you have to say. But if everything you're saying comes from a place of malice, why would they listen to you? I'm not going to listen to somebody who's attacking me. I will, however, listen to somebody who says, hey, I didn't like this because of this. It's frustrating. And the point that I'm trying to bring up is that if you continue on this path as a community, you will see a game that you say you love die, and it'll die very quickly. I don't even want to make Dead by Daylight content anymore. I don't want to make this video because I feel like I'm talking to brick walls, or that I'm preaching to the choir, because in all of my videos, a great many people in the comments section vastly agree with me, and I appreciate that. But the problem that I have is that it doesn't seem to be reaching the people it needs to reach, and that is frustrating to feel. I'm not quitting Dead by Daylight. This last paragraph was completely unscripted and might not even make it into the video. I'll see. But I just want to let you guys know that while I'm very grateful for the success, the community's attitude toward the game and the developers and the way that they pitch these tantrums, it's disheartening. It's disheartening. I don't want to be associated or part of a community that cannot see the good in anything done. Thank you for watching. I didn't know if I was going to make this video or not. And as promised in the beginning, this Wednesday's video will be one of positivity, fun, and enjoyment to cleanse our palates of the bullshit we're fed day to day. If you want to discuss Dead by Daylight with me live, or even join in on our open lobbies, I stream Dead by Daylight on Twitch at the link in the description. And if you want to chat with me off stream, our Discord is open to those 18+, also linked in the description. With all that out of the way, have a wonderful day. I love you all. And remember, keep on gaming.